He had zero status. He was a nobody. He had to just plow their fields. Then he didn't own the land. He didn't have ownership or control over his children. He was an outsider. It was nothing. I would say today there are zero matriarchal societies, but there are matrilineal societies, and that's where descent is traced down the female line. Now, matrilineal societies are not necessarily matriarchal. So even if descent is followed down the female line, usually women have more freedom to move around, but often the authority figure is like the uncle rather than the father. So it's not like some kind of feminist utopia. Those matrilineal societies are also incredibly vulnerable and very fragile. No matrilineal society has ever got rich. My theory is because men don't like matrilineal systems. Because, for example, in Bembaland, in Zambia, 100 years ago, a man would have to work for his wife's parents. He had zero status. He was a nobody. He had to just plow their fields. Then he didn't own the land. He didn't have ownership or control over his children. He was an outsider. It was nothing. So in every single society, systematically, when you see a rise in wage labor markets, or a rise in some other way of getting rich for men, some kind of economic independence, men leave matrilineal systems. So in Zambia, men left the villages and they went to work in the copper belt mines, and then they started their own nuclear families. Like, they did not like matrilineal. Why would you? Why would you want to be under someone else's system? And so matrilineal systems weaken for two reasons. One, men don't like them. Secondly, men are never constrained. So because the matrilineal inheritance is descended down the female line, they don't police men, so they don't stop men from moving away. They care about the woman and her having children. So men have zero restrictions. So if a man wants to go off to the copper belt, he can. So the man has the economic incentive to leave and no constraints. So he does. As soon as you get a bit of job creating economic growth, he leaves. The same thing does not happen under patrilineal systems. They are much more stable. Why is that? Because patrilineal systems trace descent down the male line. They care enormously about the purity and paternal certainty. So you only know that child is yours if you impose restrictions on the woman. Because if the woman is moving about too freely, then who knows who she's been having sex with, all right? So patrilineal systems tend to have a preference for female chastity. So it's much harder for women to just up and go. There are much more heavier restrictions. Of course, this varies slightly with culture, but for the most part, patrilineal cultures that trace descent down the male line put up obstacles to women going about too freely. So that makes them a bit more durable.